All right, guys. So today we are going to be looking at 3G, so the business support services. Just a reminder that you will be watching these videos now instead of the Ed Rollo videos. They just don't have as much of the information as what we want you to be learning. All right. So looking at business support services, there are so many support services. So we are just going to touch on the ones that are in the study design, as both Pickett and myself have repetitively said over the course of term 1 and term 2. All right, so focus on legal, financial, technological, community-based, formal and informal networks, and business mentors. All right, so the first one, we're just going to look at business support services as a whole. So a business support service is the specialized people, facilities, amenities that aim to help a business successfully operate. Without them, it can be quite difficult for a business to successfully operate purely because there are so many limitations in what owners may know about a business, which we have also already touched on. Okay, so a disadvantage of being a sole trader, as an example, is that you don't have the broad skills in order to address every single aspect of a business. Okay. So as you can see, that next dot point, it's useful for business owners who lack the skills or knowledge in particular areas. So an example of this could easily be a business owner that is really, really good with customer service, but they maybe lack the budgeting and the financial aspect, and that's when they are going to bring in a support service. All right, so the first one, we're looking at legal help, okay? So businesses have to comply with all laws and regulations. This shouldn't be news to anyone, pretty common sense. This can obviously be difficult to stay up to date with, as the laws are constantly changing, regulations are constantly changing. So knowing exactly what is required is obviously super important. Solicitors will be required to provide documents, so contracts, or give special legal advice. This could be on any range of items. Okay, so as you can see in the image, you could be looking at putting together leases, partnerships agreements, negotiating on franchise agreements, the actual advice or selection on what the best legal structure would be. They really do look at a range of things. Obviously, we're not going to be asking you to look at every single one of them, but you should know that there is quite a broad range and know a few examples as well. All right, so you do have finance as well. So this image was actually taken directly from the textbook. So when we're looking at financial support services, you are looking at the feasibility. So if we remember all the way back to outcome 1, the feasibility, is the business actually going to be successful? Looking at maintaining and inspecting financial information, so looking at past receipts, looking at where your money is coming in and going out, working out what tax you owe, making sure your employees are paid on time, setting financial goals, making a profit, and advising on possible business strategies in order to make more money. Okay, so if we look at it in quite a bit of detail, so determines whether a business can sustain itself. That is obviously looking at that feasibility study. Okay. Businesses may require an accountant, financial planner, bookkeeping in the establishment phase, as well as ongoing. So an accountant or a bookkeeper, they're the two definitions that you should be taking down. And then again, there is quite a long list of aspects that these people can be hired for. So actually valuing the business, inclusive of goodwill, meaning inclusive of their reputation, okay? And that would link back to buying an existing business, because if you are buying an existing business, they are going to include the reputation. Okay, how much do you pay for a good reputation? Financial feasibility, negotiations regarding leases and contracts. So they do work quite closely with legal support services, but obviously they're just looking at it from a different lens. All right, the next one, technology. Developing, installing, and maintaining technological systems such as a website, advising on hardware and software, maintaining security, privacy of customers, and actually training the workers in understanding the technology. Okay, none of these should be new to you. Okay, these should all be sounding familiar from the last outcome. All right. So it is important for business owners to plan to have suitable technology that enhances the business practices. This can result in increased productivity, increased efficiency, quality outputs, and the use of technological experts such as information communications technology consultants. So if we're looking at this from the school perspective, you could consider Jaden to be one of those consultants. Okay, he's the person that we go to when we are having difficulties with that technology. Most businesses now are going to need a ICT consultant because they do have an online presence. All right, community-based programs. Engaging with the community brings together like-minded individuals who are interested in businesses and community involvement. Hubs, classes, and events run by the local council. Okay. With these ones, again, this should sound somewhat familiar because there are business-based programs that we looked at in outcome 1. So thinking about the business hubs, business mentors that all help people to network and come together to provide advice or get feedback on how they're actually running their business. Mentoring. So the mentoring one, again, should be sounding quite familiar to you. So local and state governments also facilitate local business groups and make mentoring arrangements. A mentor can assist in starting a new business, establishing objectives and direction for a business, writing business plans, which is what you guys are doing for your upcoming SAC, developing marketing strategies and providing expert opinions and strategies. So with this one, they are effectively there to provide advice and feedback on how the business is running to ultimately improve them. Okay, so anything that you think would benefit a business is likely what the mentor is going to provide assistance with. Informal sources of support or informal networks. They are unofficial interconnected groups, okay? So anyone that you would normally go to for personal advice would be considered informal source of support in a business sense, okay? Networking. So networking just means you're getting together with other people to have conversations about things that are relevant. So in relation to business, groups of business owners who are going to exchange ideas. Used to obtain valuable information about how to set up and run a business. Okay. So again, informal advice. You're often not going to pay for that. It is usually just sort of discussions or chats around what works and what doesn't. Formal sources of support. So just like informal, only in a much more professional sense. Official and professional interconnected group of people and businesses. They can be established through business associations that aim to provide advice and support from many professionals. They talk about experience. Business owners enables the business owner to refine their plan and gain insight into different business experiences. So what may work for you may not have worked for them, or potentially what you are doing at the moment isn't working. They have already experienced that and they can give advice on what they did to change that and benefit themselves. Okay. Professional advisors. So that could be lawyers, accountants, financial advisors, bank managers, brokers, marketing advertisements, really anyone that you would consider to give professional advice, okay, that do have expertise in that field.